the 2025 WNBA season didn't just start, it exploded into public consciousness, driven by a storyline too compelling for fans and the media to ignore. The spotlight was squarely on Caitlin Clark of the Indiana Fever and Angel Reese of the Chicago Sky, two young stars who in many ways represent the future of the league. From the very beginning, this matchup was hyped as the WNBA's version of Magic Johnson versus Larry Bird, a rivalry steeped in contrasting styles, fierce competitiveness, and a growing sense of cultural importance. But what should have been a celebration of elite talent and healthy competition quickly devolved into something far messier. The drama kicked off during a nationally televised game between the Fever and the Sky. As Reese barreled toward the basket, Clark attempted a defensive stop. The play was aggressive, no doubt about it, and it resulted in a foul call against Clark. After a video review, the referees upgraded it to a flagrant 1, triggering a domino effect of reactions on the court, in the stands, and across the media landscape. The aftermath of that moment was even more explosive than the play itself. Emotions ran high, and it didn't take long for tensions to boil over. Both Angel Reese and Indiana's Aaliyah Boston were hit with technical fouls as the two teams exchanged words and sidelong glances. It was clear that this wasn't just about basketball anymore. What could have been chalked up to a physical but routine part of a hard-fought game instead spiraled into a full-blown controversy. Rather than highlighting the impressive performances or pivotal game moments, media coverage zeroed in on the altercation. It dominated headlines, social media threads, and television segments. The incident overshadowed everything else that happened on the court, turning a single foul into a referendum on sportsmanship, favoritism, and the direction of the league. It also reignited conversations that had been bubbling since last season. Conversations about race, media bias, and how rivalries in women's sports are portrayed and consumed by the public. Part of the reason the tension felt so amplified is that this wasn't a one-off matchup. The WNBA made the deliberate decision to schedule the Sky and the Fever to face off 5 times this season, an unusually high number for interconference teams. While that move made perfect business sense, after all, fans are tuning in for Clark versus Reese, it also raised questions about the league's intentions. Is the WNBA genuinely trying to showcase elite competition? Or is it exploiting drama for rating? For some, it feels like the league is leaning too hard into narrative building at the expense of the sport itself. The concern is that these games are being promoted less as basketball matchups and more like reality TV episodes, complete with rivalries, dramatic face-offs, and viral moments ready to be clipped for social media. That's a dangerous game to play, especially for a league still carving out its place in the broader landscape of professional sport. People want drama, yes, but they also want substance. They want to see athletes excel, teams grow, and stories unfold organically. Rachel A. Demita, a former college hooper turned sports analyst and media personality, didn't mince words when she recently addressed the situation. On her popular digital platform, she expressed how disheartening it was to see the league veering away from its core values. Demita has long been a supporter of women's basketball, often advocating for increased visibility, respect, and investment in the WNBA. But this time, she admitted to feeling genuinely discouraged. In her eyes, the constant drama isn't just tiring, it's embarrassing. She pointed out that if the rest of the season is going to follow this pattern of conflict overshadowing the competition, she might have to rethink how, or even if, she continues to cover the league. Her words struck a chord because they weren't coming from a place of cynicism. They were coming from someone who cares deeply about the sport and is heartbroken to see it drifting away from what makes it great. Demita's frustration isn't isolated. She's tapping into a larger sentiment among die-hard fans and analysts who've followed the WNBA for years. There's a growing worry that the league is more focused on spectacle than sustainability. The Clark-Reese rivalry may have injected a jolt of energy and attention, but that energy can become toxic if not managed correctly. Instead of building up the entire ecosystem of the league, highlighting team dynamics, celebrating veteran leadership, and showcasing up-and-coming talent, the spotlight remains glued to interpersonal drama. It's as if the narrative has become less about basketball and more about who's throwing shade, who liked what tweet, and who didn't give the other a shout-out in a post-game interview. That kind of focus might attract a surge of short-term interest, but it risks alienating the loyal base that supported the league through years of relative obscurity. The controversy also reopens old wounds from the 2024 season, when Caitlin Clark's meteoric rise sparked a wave of discourse beyond just X's and O's. Many players and fans voiced frustration over Clark's reluctance to take a stronger public stand against racism, especially as she became one of the most visible faces in the sport. It wasn't just about basketball, it was about leadership, accountability, and how much responsibility a star athlete carries in shaping the culture around them. And now, in 2025, the scrutiny hasn't let up. Even LeBron James found himself pulled into the storm after he tweeted praise for Clark's triple-double performance. The reaction was swift and polarizing. Some hailed LeBron's endorsement, while others criticized him for not giving Angel Reese equal acknowledgement. The drama ballooned from a basketball game to a social commentary on media narratives, bias, and perceived favoritism. When the dust settled, one thing became clear. The Sky Fever Showdown had done massive numbers. According to ESPN PR, the game attracted 2.5 million viewers, making it one of the most watched regular season games in WNBA history. That kind of visibility is gold for any league, but especially for one that's constantly fighting for mainstream attention. Yet even as executives and marketers celebrated the ratings bump, a more sobering reality set in. Is this really the kind of attention the league wants to attract? Yes, people are watching. But what are they watching for? Are they tuning in to see great basketball? Or are they rubbernecking to catch the next viral spat or post-game snub? There's a fine line between growth and gimmick, and right now, the WNBA is walking that tightrope. The league has made attempts to address the negativity. Initiatives like the No Space for Hate campaign aim to curb the rising tide of harassment and toxicity that players have experienced both online and in arenas. But some critics feel these measures, while well-intentioned, don't go far enough. It's not just about protecting players from abuse. It's about setting a tone for what the league stands for. If the WNBA wants to position itself as a space for elite competition and athletic excellence, then the conversation needs to return to the court. That means media outlets need to highlight more than just the drama. It means the league needs to promote a wider range of players and narratives. And it means fans need to engage with the game, not just the gossip. Both Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese, to their credit, have tried to keep the focus on basketball. In interviews following the controversial game, both downplayed the tensions and reiterated that physical play is simply part of the sport. But the noise around them refuses to die down. Every stare, every post-game quote, every Instagram story is dissected and debated, and that's not entirely their fault. The media ecosystem surrounding them is hungry for clicks, and conflict drives engagement. Still, it's hard not to wonder what it would look like if the same energy was devoted to breaking down plays, spotlighting defensive brilliance, or celebrating team chemistry. Would the public respond the same way? Would a perfectly executed pick and roll ever go as viral as a flagrant foul? The challenge now lies with the WNBA's leadership. As the season unfolds, they have a golden opportunity to recalibrate the narrative. The league is in a rare moment of mainstream relevance. More eyes are on the WNBA than perhaps ever before. But with that attention comes responsibility. It's time to steer the focus back to what makes this league worth watching: the players, the strategy, the sheer passion poured into every game. That doesn't mean ignoring the cultural dynamics at play or pretending everything is perfect. It means building a stronger foundation for long-term success, one that isn't dependent on controversy or conflict to keep people watching. As we look ahead to the next Fever versus Sky matchups, there's hope that the storyline will shift. There's hope that instead of waiting for the next on-court dust-up, fans will tune in to see how each team adjusts, how the young stars evolve, and how the rivalries push them to grow. There's hope that the WNBA can find the sweet spot between personality